Hi guys, this is Richard Huntley here, back with another video for you today. I know it's been a little while, but I thought today let's bring in a special guest, someone very close to me. And if you don't know this is my father, Dave Huntley. Big inspiration personally in my life, and I know thousands of other people as well. I thought it'd be nice to sort of share a little background story on both my father, and he could probably say a little things about myself and my childhood growing up, so you get to know us a little bit more and background. So a little bit on my dad, Dave Huntley here. He's an author of 5 books, and they are in the self-development, the personal development niche, so helping people get from where they are now to really where they want to be. And what's your favourite book, would you say?
I'd say my favourite book is my first book, which is called Make That Change.
Make That Change, yeah. I like, that's the pocket-sized book. And if you search on Amazon, you'll be able to find my dad's books on there. But Make That Change is a good little pocket-sized one to take around with you. Also, what really inspired me to start on my martial arts and fitness is he built his own martial arts school from literally like scratch, 0 all the way up to boasting over, like, what was it, 300 members at one point,
yeah,
was it? Yeah, your most successful. So that's all on his own as well, all off his own back. You know, no startups, anybody helping him or anything. Just did it by himself. So he's going to share a little bit of the nuggets today of how my father improved his life, and how he shared the wisdom with me and how it can help improve yours too. And lastly, yeah, just to say, I've put a little note down here as well, how you train in Japan as well, and because we're martial artists, training the art of jiu-jitsu, also kenjutsu, some of the old samurai arts. So if you're a bit of a martial artist or you have some interest in the history of the arts, this is the person to speak to as well about that. So let's get started. Right, I've popped down some notes here, so I thought it'd be a bit more interesting to really dive deep. And I said to my dad before this, is it okay if we go down this route, you know, about some of the bits of the past? And he said, yeah, that's fine. You know, transparency and authenticity we'll be sharing with you today. So the first one is how the story of how you got started, wasn't it, with your father, what happened and how he passed away. So you always find in success stories there's tragic sort of beginnings, and so this is my dad's.
Yeah, so basically, one of my mentors, his name's Jeff, he always told me that there's always discomfort in growth. And what they're sort of saying is sort of like, you have to start at the bottom to understand about your path to the future. And so my basic story is that at the age of 6, my father died suddenly one night, and my mum done a very good job, I think. Okay, she's no longer with us at the moment. She is in spirit, but she's no longer on this side. Brought us 4 up on her own. So 2 things she said to me: we didn't have a lot of finance or money, but we had a lot of love. And you find that that thing called love, that emotion, love, is the strongest thing what you'll ever have. What's going to take you from a place of discomfort to whatever it is that you dream of. Doesn't really matter at all. Whatever it is what you're thinking about is, once you've got love, you've got everything in your life.
And just going back to thinking about it, when your father died, my grandfather obviously, who I never got to meet, but the special thing was, you know, something so tragic that happening like this, especially when you're such a young age, something good can come out of it. And really, you even suffered from bullying, didn't you, at school? And that's how you got down. Let's lead just slightly the viewers down how you got involved in, it's not always the martial arts, but the combative arts, because you got into boxing, didn't you?
Yeah.
With a local boxer.
Yeah. So I lived in a very colourful area, and there was lots of likeable rogues. Yeah, but the community all had one another's back. And so at the age of about 8, the bottom of my garden, okay, was an old fairground boxer, and he used to tour around taking on all comers and to the fairground, and he taught me how to box. In the back of the garden, or yard, or you may call it, he put in 4 poles and he tied a rope round, and I used to spar with 18-inch gloves on with him and with his son, who ended up to be a European champion. And I found out quickly that the art of boxing was to, like all the greats would say, is to hit and don't get hit. But Tony was a really good boxer, his son. But from those combative days, he also taught me about bullies. Okay, obviously, like my son was just talking about. Okay, and back in those days, people said a lot of spiteful things to you about because you didn't have a father, and I was a lot more edgier then. And
you had the energy, didn't you?
Yeah.
And so if you don't know how to handle your emotions, you just think with your fists straight away. Yeah. It's not always the way, is it? That's
no.
the thing.
Even today, a couple of weeks ago when I help out now and again in my son's little children's class, I tell him about the bully story, about and it's laying on the back technique which we show the children, and they actually and it's true. The guy who used to put grass in my mouth, he used to sit on top of me. His name was Brian. So Brian, if you're watching, hello.
Thanks for the lessons.
Thanks for all the lessons, Brian.
Yeah.
No, I love you dearly, Brian.
Yeah.
And we've all moved down that path. In actual fact, it's really funny that Brian turned out to be a well-known guy who was on security. And
you find that though, don't you?
Yeah.
People can sort of link up afterwards.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh yeah, I remember being awful to you, Dave."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, but it's like I say to everybody, it doesn't stop me from loving you."
Yeah.
And from a big guy there with all these physical attributes, when you say to them, "It's never going to stop me from loving you," it crushes them like a grape, because everybody thinks you want to challenge them. But I wouldn't now. I'd just send them all love balls, whatever it is. So the bullying issues, yeah, that was a good thing for me. You know, if you're in a place where you're thinking of getting bullied by the boss, you know, obviously you should go down the route of counselling, and you also should speak up about it. The worst thing ever with bullying, which my son definitely teaches in our school, is don't keep it a secret. Okay, you need to tell, you need to release it, and then you find that the bullies move on to the shadows. But boxing, yeah, I still love boxing to this day. I never let either of my sons box because it was too painful a lesson for me. And when you were the sparring partner of a European, coming up to be a European champion, I had some very painful experiences. But me and Tony were best friends until in the end he moved from this area up to the north, back to where his father come from. But his father was a terrific inspiration on me. His name was Ted Barker, and I think at one stage he was in some Guinness Book of Records. I think he was also like a bare knuckle kind of boxer and that. But to my mother, and in that, he was not like a father figure to me. I wouldn't say that, but he was sort of like a guardian angel over the little area where we lived. If there was any problems or any solutions, it was quickly rectified by Ted, and one glance from Ted was all you need. He used to say to me quite often that a look is better than a punch, and boy, he had some scary looks. And today,
it's having the confidence, isn't it, at the start?
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing that this physical discipline, whatever it is that you're into, anything that gives you discipline will build confidence as well through the habits.
Yeah.
And then when you keep that habits, it sort of it builds up the confidence so much that you don't even have to get into the situation. You know you can handle yourself. But most of all, it just gives you the confidence that if anything was to happen, you know that you've got better odds compared to somebody that literally just sits on the couch watching TV all day and don't move their body.
It's energy. People like Ted, he didn't know it because he was a painter and decorator, and he's a fairground boxer. But he had tremendous energy. If he would take that energy, and like I've taught both my sons, and bottle that up, all that explosive energy, and throw it out to the universe, then you put it into something which you want to create.
And we're going to get to that before we go too far. I know you want to jump the gun, that's alright. But let's just move on to the next point, because so we've transitioned then. You're about 15 years old, and in the time obviously there was no internet there, so you didn't have different opportunities that the children have now at that age. And so your mother, my grandma, she had the job lined up for you, didn't she? And it was a factory job. This was a job for life, so you're all set, you know, this is your path. But was that the real decision that you wanted? That's the thing.
Not at all. At the age of 15, I was more or less, you move out of one area straight into the factory. The factory was just down the road, and you were told, you know, if you keep your head down and if you're lucky, you know, it's a job for life. And then the worst thing I was told was, these jobs don't come along every day, and these jobs don't grow on trees. Well, rest assured, I'm glad that they don't. Yeah. But it's the mindset, and that's what it's all about. Really speaking, I wanted to be a barber, and I expect I would have been quite a good barber, because I loved working with my hands, and I still do to today. Being creative, and I love.
It's artistic. It's like martial arts. It's an art, isn't it? It's
and I
creativity.
like to talk.
And you like a good conversation.
And I most probably then would have started off with one barbershop, but I wouldn't have been happy with one barbershop. I would have had a fleet of barbershops. Yeah. I know that, because that's what I've done with other projects what I've had, what we were talking about, sure.
So then you found yourself in more of a factory job that your mother lined up for you at the time, which was good, but then you found as the years went on, the family came along, me and my brother, my older brother Nick, he's 3.5 years older than me, we came along, and after a while, I remember you telling me you just had this big sort of feeling of emptiness and unfulfillment, didn't you?
Yeah.
That you were waking up in the morning, you were going to work when it was dark, and especially, you know, winter time, and you would come home and it was dark, and you're just missing the day, and you sort of think to yourself, you know, what am I doing with my life? It's a bit of a check for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you're sat in the factory there, and the old guys are coming up to you and they're saying, "Hey, getting on?" And I'm very polite, and I used to love them dearly, and I loved the camaraderie of it all, and I also loved the banter. I loved the humour of the banter, but I used to think to myself, they're like 50 or 60 years of age. This is what I'm going to be like if I don't do something about it. But it's quickly just rectified to all you guys out there who are in a place that you don't like. Okay, you can change. It is difficult. I know, because when I first started in that job, I thought, yeah, once I get so far, I'll be okay. And then all of a sudden, a mortgage comes along. And then you meet the mortgage, you think, well, maybe I could leave the factory then. Then before you know it, you've got one child. And any of you guys out there who's got children, you know that you're flesh and blood.
It's the more pressure, isn't it? And
correct.
More responsibility, and you so you're stacking it more on yourself, and you think, oh, you know, am I ever going to see a way out of this? Now I'm not just doing it for myself, but you're doing it for your children and your
correct.
wife. You know, it's not just a selfish act now. But so you wanted to try and, so it was hard, wasn't it? It was trying to juggle to say, when do you take the leap? But if you want to say, the next stage you met a man, and this is what's really good about the story, is that even though you were in that job where you were unfulfilled, you crossed paths with another person that was very, you could say, enlightened, even though he was working there at this time, and he felt exactly the same, which made both of you click. It's nearly made you both attract. His name was Terry, and you both attracted together, and he started giving you a few little books that he used to read, and that sort of started to change your mindset, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. When we used to sit in a place, and most of the guys were on a Friday, they couldn't race to get away from the factory in the weekend, and on the Monday they'd be telling you about how bad their weekend was all the time. My friend Terry, who I used to, he always had his head in a book, so he wouldn't read the bad news, he wouldn't look at the bad news. Terry's information was what Terry wanted, and it quite intrigued me, because being with my background, I was never into reading books, let alone being an author like I am now. And so one day he gave me this book, and it's a very, very good book, and many of you watching this, if you follow my son's programs and stuff like that, it's Dan Millman. It's Way of the Peaceful Warrior. He said to me, this is an easy read for you. I picked it up. Well, in the first few pages I struggled because I wasn't into reading, and I have a little bit of dyslexia anyhow, which people will now say to you, oh, that's good, I've got that. But Also,
but back then when you were at school it wasn't known,
Oh,
was it? So
no.
dyslexia would have just said, oh, you know, you're just a thick kid, you haven't got a clue, you know, just naughty, or doesn't listen, doesn't read.
Yeah.
You know, you've
pays
been-
too much attention,
Yeah.
talking to the girls and smiling,
Yeah.
looking out the
Yeah.
window at nature.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah, but now you understand that everybody will learn in a different way,
Yeah,
won't they?
yeah. And
It takes, you know, it takes practice.
it does. It really does. Everybody's on a different gift. So after Dan Millman with Terry, I had other books to read. Then he gave me a few more, and then I found another one what he gave me, which is called Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, and that really, really changed me. And then he gave me another book, and he said, "Oh, this book will suit you. This is a book by Jeff Thompson. He was a bouncer. He was a doorman. I know how you love the combative arts and stuff like that. And he's a karate guy, and I think you can relate to him." Well, I did relate to Jeff because I went on to be mentored by him. Okay, I was very, very lucky, and he's made a big impact on my life, Jeff Thompson. And so, if you're watching this, Jeff, or there's a link to somebody else who's watching, I love you dearly. Yeah, so Jeff Thompson watched my back, really lit my flame, and so yeah, books are most important. If you have a book, that's why I write books now. Even if you don't read them or you don't get it the first time around, because I read some books now and I read some of the stuff what my son lets me read, and for me I struggle with it, but I keep the book and I put it to one side because books give you energy. If you want to have a successful life, that's one of my key little things what I talk about. When somebody comes to me for a bit of mentoring, I say, "How big's your library?" "What? How big's your library?" "Oh, I don't know." I said, "Well, you need to start collecting all these different books, whether it's Napoleon Hill, anything what
Well, especially if you
want to
want to improve your life,
Yeah.
you know, you got to start with something as simple as a book.
Book.
And it's people are literally telling you their ways how they've improved their lives, and they wrote it down for you. And whether they're like living now or past, they've literally wrote it down for you. Their sort of roadmap of all of their mistakes. So if you're not investing in you, number one, that's the big game changer, isn't it?
Correct,
First of all,
yeah.
there's nobody better to invest in yourself. So whether it's Amazon or a local, we call them in England, the little charity shops we have, or in the States you have different sorts of shops like the low-end budget shops where you can get all the different books and things. I think they call it like thrift shops. You'll be able to get different books from different authors in the sort of niche that you're into, whether it's like my dad here has the self-development niche where you help people get from where they are to where they want to be in life, or whatever it is. You're a person who's a musician, wants to improve, maybe start reading about the people who have made it where you want to be. So let's move on also. So you and Terry, you both met, he started reading some books, he changed your mindset, and then you came together, and then you both had the goal, didn't you, of leaving that place and branching out on your own. Two different goals in the sense of you want to go down the martial art route, he wanted to go down a different route, and he left first, didn't he? And then you followed a year or so after that was meant to be, and then it was the lonely time because you were doing the martial arts along with it, weren't you?
Yeah.
Sort of synergising together. But once you had done that lonely trail, which was see you later to the conventional job, you know, and everybody saying to you, "Oh, I wouldn't leave this. That's a dangerous move, leaving that job, because you've got no stability working for yourself." You had all of those people, and even if it's like family members as well, you can get that as well. Yeah, but that's the thing. But so how, for the person that's thinking the same sort of thoughts as that, how did you get through that?
Right.
When people are thinking, right, you're not gonna, how are you gonna do it, and they're saying things to you, and doubt's one of the worst sort of diseases we have now.
So, the transition period from conventional employment, for me, where it's a safe job, you've got your pension linked in with it, you've got your date on the calendar for when you're possibly going to leave, and retirement comes.
Yeah. Holiday, you got your holiday.
Got your holiday
your
pay, every sick pay, a really what they say, a good job. And then the guys were there saying, "Oh, this is in the factory job. How are you going to make a living making martial arts?" But I knew that I could. I knew that with a passion I could equally lead the same sort of lifestyle, or if not better. So that's what made it do for me. But you will get slaughtered. If you're, it's an old adage. I'll give you a quick conversation about this. It's an old saying. There was a guy, and he was walking across the hills, or the desert maybe where you are, and there was an old inn or a camp, and the wind was blowing and the rain was coming down and the weather was absolutely atrocious, and he sees a light up ahead, and he knocks on the door there, and the door opens up like this, and there's 4 or 5 figures there, and they've got a warm drink, and the fire's going there saying, "Come on in, my friend." And so you go in there for one night in the cosy inn in the place, and you warm your hands and have a drink. But after a while, it starts to hit you inside. There's got to be something else outside. But the people in the inn say, "You don't need to go. The weather isn't going to change." And you sort of think to yourself, "But I can see a break in the clay. What are you sitting in here for?" But they won't move. And that's like a lot of people in life. They're too busy, cosy, warming their hands at the fire, because it's an easy life. They moan, they complain about it, but they won't do nothing about it. And then the worst thing is, guys, they don't want you to either. So when you undo the door and you leave, they say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, where are you going?" Remember the story, the kid's story I told you about the crab syndrome?
Yeah, it's the crabs.
Tell the guys the
yeah,
crab
well, if you put a load of crabs in a pot, I used to go crab fishing in a place called Mudderford, which is down the south of England. It's a great spot for crab fishing. And once you catch your crabs, when you actually see, and you look inside the bucket, one of them goes to crawl out of the bucket, and then all of the rest of them say, "Hey, wait a minute, he's getting out of there." "No, he's not." And they all start coming up with their little claws. They grab hold of him and pull him back in. And that's sort of like a metaphor to think to yourself, you know, who else is going to try and hold you back? You've got to try and don't be like a crab. You want to think all past that. You want to try and think to yourself, look, I know there's going to be crabs around me trying to pull me back. We just accept it, don't we?
Yeah.
We know this. But we know that that's coming. It's fine. You just have to toughen up, toughen skin. It's part of the journey. You're going to have scars, aren't you?
Yeah.
We've all got scars. Everybody's got battle wounds. But you've got to keep continuously training. And then the difference is between the people who sort of like surrender and give up early because they can't take the heat anymore, and the people that want to continue.
Over 25 years ago, when I was in this original martial arts school, it was part of a big organisation where they had thousands of students. And one of the guys there who was running it turned around to me and said, "If you leave this organisation, Dave, to go and set up your own, you'll be nothing. You'll just be merely just a black belt in the room. Who's going to go to you?" Well, I quickly found out, but being honest with people and sharing your knowledge with people and being independent is more valuable than being just another cog in the wheel, grounding the same old things. So when I went to strike out on my own, I had to go and find out what martial arts was really like. So that's when I met my mentor, Sokifu Montanaka, in Japan, in the martial art world. He came over here in about 88, 89 when I met him, and he was absolutely amazing. He put everybody in Europe to shame who was studying Japanese.
Yeah, he's fantastic at sword as well, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Check him out. Check him out on the internet.
His cuttings, you know, he makes it look easy. You have a go at cutting bamboo, which he just balances on top of the stand. A lot of people like nailing bits, but he literally balances and cuts. That's very difficult to do.
Sokifu Montanaka, remember that?
Yeah.
Really? And so, with that in mind, I left the big organisation to set up on my own and started up my own school. And you move in then, you move in from one area into another. Is it hard? Yes.
Is it worth it?
Yes.
Exactly, that's what you ought to think.
Because it gives you freedom. That's what it gives you. And that's what you want. And once you've got that little bit of freedom, you can't buy that. And I've instilled that little bit of knowledge and inspiration in my son, as you follow, and in my other son, who's doing extremely well in a corporate company. But he loves it. He loves that sort of world. Yeah. So martial arts, the transition from one to the other, is find out mentors, get good books,
Yeah.
get as much knowledge as you, and have people around you who support you.
Yeah, that means this tough choice, because you're going to have to start giving up some of the maybe friends that you hung out with before that they don't lift you up, they bring you down. They're the people you'll have to drop or fade out of your life.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's a tough love. You got to think about yourself and where your vision is. Do they sort of go along with your vision, or do they go against your vision? And that's the sort of core values and questions you got to ask yourself.
I was really fortunate that I had my wife, Richard's mum. She's 100% on board with me, because she could see how disillusioned and upset I was, and how I had outgrown the job what I was in originally, and she knew what a passion I had for trying to start up my martial arts school, and it wasn't easy.
It's not an overnight thing.
It's not an overnight success. No. The transition period when you're in conventional employment to starting a new business, those 2 years you have to nearly work a 15-hour day, 7 days a week. Richard used to come on the mat and help me with the kids even then, but he used to see how tired I was. But it's worth it in the end. It's very much worth it, pays dividends. Right,
so that's a little background story, which I hope you've enjoyed. It's a little bit of a personal story for you. I've wrote down a few questions that I get asked a lot, and I think my dad can bring some value to this too. And it'd be a mixture of different areas of the life, because that's the thing. Look, I teach you lots of fitness, workout, how to lose weight, diet, nutrition tips. That's brilliant. It's just one piece of the puzzle. We want to make sure all areas of your life is at its 100% working level. So the first one is, we sort of touched on this before, but how do I find my passion or career? What would you say to a person that's, well, I'm not really too sure, maybe if they're younger, because I know we mentor some young people, don't we, and they are a little bit confused. They're sort of, oh, well, I'm not really too sure what I want to do. What would you say to them? Would you say they need to maybe start trying out a few more things, or?
Yeah, what they need to do really is to be what I call is, you're going to laugh at this, especially from a Brit. It's called life's like a tea bag. You never know how hot the water is until you dump it in it. So what I'm saying to you is, guys, is give it a try. And it's alright to change. I have loads of young people, they come into me and they say, I've made the wrong college choice, I've made the wrong choice. You can change. You can change. Okay? Richard's wife, okay, I love her dearly. I helped her change. Now she's in the teaching profession around the school area, absolutely loves it. But before that she wasn't going to be a teacher, and I said to her, you can change, and you can too. There's nothing holding you back, believe me. You can start loads of different things and see which one that you like, but then you must have a purpose, and then you must pursue it with a passion. Those are the P's. Purpose, and then you must follow it with a passion.
And then persistence.
Yeah.
That could be another P.
Yeah, it could be. It could be the 3 P's.
Yeah, 3 P's.
There you go. This is what we work out all together. But you understand where we're coming from with this.
Yeah.
But once you actually love what you do, you never ever go to work again. If you're pursuing something, I see my son doing stuff on the internet now, and he absolutely loves it. And then he shows me some of the things, what he receives back, lovely letters and stuff like that. It touches you here, and that's what you've got to try and think to yourself. If you love what you do and love what you put out, love is only the thing that you're going to get back.
And a lot of it's confidence at the start. Yeah. Like you're saying, the fear of you making the transition. It's the fear of the person. Oh, if I go down this career, will I get judged? People, do I align? Do people align with my personality with this job? All the things go through your head, don't they? So let's now have a little dive deep into more of what some of my viewers like to see, which is the exercises, and also maybe a little insight to your food routine that you would use. So what exercise do you personally like to use that could benefit our viewers?
I'd say the basic concept of the art of boxing, the cardio side of it, is absolutely fantastic.
What about martial fitness? I thought that was one.
Well, yeah, martial fitness is, but boxing is very, very good. Okay, it tones the upper sort of body. Temiwazas, or punching, as you guys call it, okay, is what I'd say is one of the best exercises what you can get. the ultimate sort of shape, okay, or physique, if you want to call it. If
that's lots of the guys,
yeah,
isn't it? Lots of the guys as well. But
yeah,
you know, women can train
yeah,
that
but
as well.
what I was sort of saying on the boxing kind of front, I know there's women boxers out there, I do apologise, but Bruce Lee, look at that kind of supple shape, okay, and striking gives you that, okay, Zuki punching gives you that, cardio on boxing I would say is my favourite form of exercise.
Okay, what about any food tips? I know you go to Japan and travel there, and you've learnt quite a lot, and so have I personally by witnessing the way they eat. They have one of the lowest obesities, if not obesity rates, in the whole world, if not the lowest. I think it's something like, it was a few years back I remember looking, it was about 2.3%, compared to the West here is like 20%, so what have you learned?
Well, I've been to Japan many times, and I've taken my son with me as well. And the main thing when I come back from there was the food. Because how many times have you guys been on vacation or holiday and come back, especially if you've been on a cruise, and I've been on some of those lovely American cruises, and I have to exercise all the time because you watch what you eat. But going back to Japan is small portions. That's the main secret, what I say to you, on palate. Palate is every single thing in diet. It's small portion. Have exactly what you want.
But you want quality ingredients, don't you? Something that's going to fill you. If you're just having foods that are more of the empty calories, so to speak, you're going to be more hungry through the day, aren't you?
Yeah. I always say, if you want to watch a good diet movie, go to the buffet and watch them when they saw about the small plates and the guys what think about that this is going to be their last supper or their last meal for the day, as they pile it all up on. When life's not really like that, you know, at the buffet you should eat as much as what you like, and when you're full you've had enough.
It's learning, isn't it? It's the discipline to know when to stop.
People sometimes perceive value in thinking, well, if I eat more for how much money I've spent, I would. But you haven't if you're obese.
Really, what is the real duty of food is to fill us, to sustain our energy throughout the day so we can perform better, and also it's the different types of quality foods that you're getting, how it helps you perform better for your body and your body type.
Yeah, so my tip would be on palate, on diet, is eat quality products, but eat them on a small plate. If you ever go to Japan and you eat over there, that's the main thing what I always come back. When I come back from Japan, I feel exactly cleansed, just like going away
Lots
to a
of green tea. Yeah, they love antioxidants over there.
They also know how to enjoy themselves, the Japanese, but on palate, that's why you don't see, apart from obviously the super wrestlers or those kind of, you don't see the average Japanese person, okay, who's obese, overweight, like we all are in the West. We're struggling with it bad because they watch what they eat and they eat small portions.
And they move a lot as well. The amount of cyclists they have, you see, don't you?
Everywhere.
Walking, using the trains.
It's
very true. Yeah, so there you go. Let's wrap this up for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed this, please hit that like button. Share this with your family and friends. I'm sure you'd love to hear a comment below. Also, you can leave your comments if you've enjoyed this. If you want to see more videos like this, a little bit more of a personal one-to-one with just us and you, it's quite nice. And if you'd like to see more, just let us know, or you can shoot me an email or write in the comments section below. And I'm sure we'll be able to get together a little bit more.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, and put together some good content for you to really try and bring value into your life. Like I said in this video before, it's very important to try and improve all areas of your life, not just the one. So I'm not just known for how to look after your body and your fitness. That's just one part of it. Outside, I want to also become a better father. I'm a new dad. I want to become a better dad, like you've gone through.
Yeah.
You want to go out there, you want to achieve certain goals. I have got my fitness goals, I got my business goals. I want to make a big impact in the world through my online business too. We're all on this journey together, but if we can share some tips like we have today with you from some of our mistakes and our upbringings and some of our sort of goals that we've achieved and how we've got there, maybe it can bring some value to you as well. Hope you've enjoyed this. See you in the next video and have an amazing day.
Bye.